What's up, you guys? Welcome to Financial Firefly. My name is Fernando, and I wasn't going to make a video tonight. It was getting a little late, but then news just broke. All travel to Europe is halted for 30 days starting this Friday. This is the start of the recession. I'm calling it now. It happened. I just bought some airline puts. This is going to pan out nicely for me. We'll see. Holy crap. This just happened. I'm just going to run over quickly the breaking news of the day. 3 big stories. Donald Trump announcing a 30-day ban from Europe effective Friday the 13th. All trade and everything from Europe has to get pre-screened. Humans, cargo from the UK. This is huge. The New York Times tracking map with coronavirus and the Dow Jones Industrial Average just ended the longest bull market in history. 11 years bull market just ended today. So 3 big stories, obviously all playing into each other, all because of the coronavirus. The coronavirus is just causing panic everywhere. It is now just official in the World Health Organization, who just announced that it is officially a global pandemic. It obviously reached this proportion a while ago, and they are just astonished by the complete inaction of the globe to really react and cope with this new threat that we're facing. And this supply shock, and now going to be demand shock to the economy, is just totally going to decimate the already in unstable ground we were on. He announced some federal relief measures, which are going to help some industries, some tax cuts, and all this other stuff. But in the long term, and for some industries, or the near short term for some industries, this isn't going to play out well. And for some industries in the long run, and there are still some unknowns here, right? We still don't know about the virus and its full capabilities, if it's going to die out on a seasonal basis, if it's going to evolve the way the regular or coronaviruses mutate over the seasons. Who knows? This is just the start, but this is Trump really acknowledging that this is a serious threat. So just really quick, Donald Trump announcing a 30-day ban from Europe effective Friday, March 13th. This is huge. This means that billions of dollars over the next month in revenues and traveling and cash flow for businesses all across the world are going to suffer for the next month, just based on that. In addition, he is waiving all co-payments and testing fees for the coronavirus in the United States, in addition to working with healthcare manufacturers, insurance brokers, hospitals. He's going to be working with everybody to try to respond to this thing, pumping billions into the sector and trying to fund it. He makes note that the elderly are at high risk. Be extra cautious, not go to any large places. But it's really funny because he actually sounds sick in this video. He does emphasize the risk to people that are younger is pretty low, and still the exposure is low in the United States. But just the fact that it's spreading and we're getting community spread all over these little pockets in these unknown areas in the United States of where do they come from, it just goes to show you that this is way, way, way bigger than anybody anticipated at this time. But that's how these things work. That's how they work. They just go undetected. They're silent killers, especially something like this. It's just deadly enough to go undetected for long periods of time. So it's really and that's all makes it all the more deadly. That's why it's the perfect storm. And then the inaction and the downplaying and the fibbing and the lying by all parties across the globe didn't help. And now we're here. So now he's going to have legislative action in place to help respond to this pandemic, this global pandemic. He's going to do deferred payroll taxes for hourly workers. This is a huge happening. So let's get into the map real quick. All right, so we just briefly discussed the response by the White House and President Trump in response to the World Health Organization officially issuing this as a pandemic. So let's dive into why this is happening and some of the numbers that are coming out now. So this is the New York Times tracking map. Coronavirus map tracking the spread of the outbreak. So this is the map of the New York Times tracking the virus around the globe. We'll just read through it really quick and see what insights and what value I can add, as I've been tracking this myself over time and following the media, and this is not looking good. It really isn't. So The coronavirus outbreak has sickened more than 125,000 people, according to official counts, which are not accurate. As Wednesday evening, at least 4,620 people have died, up about 500 from a day ago, all but 1,400 in mainland China, which is now increasing. As the map below shows, the disease has been detected in at least 110 countries. So this thing is all across the earth now. It is on every continent except Antarctica, I believe. Africa, we all know, is just going to underreport tremendously with their resources. It's in South America. It's in some of these warmer countries. It's in the United States, over 1,200 cases now, 80,000 in China. Iran is just booming. I'm sure they're not recording their numbers accurately. Italy just spiked up almost 3,000 today. France spiked, Germany spiked, Spain spiked, and that is why this hotbed here is now being completely cut off from the United States for the next month, because this is a high volume traffic area by the United States and Western travelers. And it as an area, it's just not getting contained as a region, and the US is saying, no, we don't want that. Iran is arguably the dark horse here, because Italy is actually recording, they have resources, but Iran is underreporting, and half their regime is actually sick at this point, so it's pretty crazy what they're doing. But this is probably double, at least double to triple. So let's scrolling down here. Sustained local transmission of the virus has been reported in South Korea, Japan, around the United States, and several countries in Europe, raising fears of a global pandemic. The CDC has advised all non-essential travel to South Korea, China, Italy, and Iran. The agency has warned older at-risk travelers to avoid Japan. So as we can see here, darker the color is the transitions over time, earlier to later. We have darker in the middle, and China is recording less cases. Italy is the most, Iran, South Korea, France, Spain, Germany, Japan, and now United States is in the top 10, right, which is crazy. While the outbreak is a serious public health concern, most people who contract the coronavirus do not become seriously ill, and are only a small percentage require intensive care. Older people and those with existing health conditions like heart or lung disease are at higher risk. More than half of those who have been infected have recovered. That is an important point to make. Of course, with the numbers coming out, it really is only a 2 to 3% mortality rate, but that 2 to 3% is actually a huge number in a global scale of things, and will seriously disrupt daily life over time, even if just being sick, and it just sucks to be sick all the time, and anybody knows. So let's just go down to the United States. This is scary. This is like that teenager having acne in high school, and it's just an outbreak, and you can't control it, and it needs some Neutrogena oil-free face wash to get all these blackheads and reds out. And look how irritated the skin is of this country. Virus in the United States continues to go quickly. As of Wednesday evening, there have been at least 1,232 cases of coronavirus confirmed by lab tests and 37 deaths, according to New York Times database, which is crazy, right? We're over 1,200 cases. Almost 40 people have died. These numbers are going to skyrocket. Look at all these isolated community spreads in all these places that nobody had contact with. That just means it's far more spread already. New York is fucked. New Rochelle is already under 1 mile quarantine by Governor Cuomo. Washington, Seattle, a bunch of people have died. All the tech companies are staying home. And in the Bay Area, this is a big issue as well, and people are staying from home. So many people in the United States are infected despite having no known connection to previous cases. Community spread, which is horrible, which suggests local person-to-person transmission of the virus. CDC officials have warned that future outbreaks are almost inevitable given the number of cases. Reports of new infections outside of China have accelerated, outpacing new cases in China for the first time. China still accounts for most of the cases reported overall since the beginning of the outbreak. If you see here, China took really aggressive measures early on to kind of curtail this. Within a couple month period, right? You see this right here, it kind of curtailed sometime around late February. The rest of the world is a lot more diverse and spread out, and obviously this trend line is negative for what we want. It's positive in cases, but negative in what we want. And just plotting this out here, extrapolating out, it kind of comes up, and It really is a lot higher, a lot steeper of the number, and we're not going to curtail this around the globe anywhere near as fast as China did, just because of how fast they can mobilize. And as a global society, we're obviously going to be a lot slower, especially with resources and lack of communication and will and inconsistencies. It's just inevitable that this is going to explode and probably be with us for a long time. The short-term economic impact is obviously going to be tremendous. The long-term impact, we'll see what happens. It will be recovered, but there's still unknowns that we don't know about. Moving down here, the outbreak is believed to have begun in a seafood and poultry market in Wuhan, a city of 11 million people in central China. The virus seems to spread very easily, especially confined spaces, making containment efforts difficult. It is difficult to know how many people who have contracted the virus die, but some early estimates put fatality rate roughly at 1%. Wuhan, map of China, obviously the largest country hit, but all over Southeast Asia now, and obviously these resources of some of these countries are less than up to par, so the numbers are probably a lot higher. Europe just absolutely exploding. Many of these cases across Europe have been tracked back to Italy, which has one of the highest, which has one of the world's largest outbreaks. At least 12,462 people have tested positive. Can you believe that? Other places around the globe are testing tens of thousands a day, and we've only tested 5,000 total in the US. That's crazy. So just wrapping up here, this is a truly global pandemic now. It is across the globe. It is just tremendous what's happening here. And just, I'll put out more of an update, more of an in-depth update soon. This was just too juicy to not talk about tonight, and I just had to show you this. So, great resource, New York Times map. Check it out, track it along. I really like this resource, and I'll be doing more on this shortly. Well, there you have it. We are kind of screwed. It is a global pandemic. Officially, the World Health Organization has issued dire warnings that this is really uncontainable at this point, and we need to start preparing. Not many people will die as a percentage, but a lot of people will be affected by this in the long and short run. So prepare for it, stock up, be safe, follow protocols. You're probably going to have to start to work from home and remote at some point if you can, so start getting prepared. I know my company is preparing for this, and maybe I'll go into more on that in detail. But this is a tremendous time in history, an opportunity. Can you imagine if you bought into the bottom of the market in 2009 or something along those lines, or have 10 years, just kind of go back in time and being able to get a slice of that little sweet, inexpensive pie, discount pie. With the bad, there inevitably becomes good. With life, there is inevitably death. And with death, there is inevitably new life, and that is if the circle completes itself. So, all about the sustainable systems on Earth. This is crazy. So just wrapping up, 30 days quarantine from Europe, who the World Health Organization has officially labeled this a global pandemic. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has officially entered bear market territory and ended its longest bull run in history, 11 years. Big news this week, big news today. We'll continue to monitor the situation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, smash the like button if you enjoyed it, hit the notification bell if you want to hear more. I appreciate you watching so much. I hope you got some value out of this. This is crazy exciting. I cannot believe that I get to be alive and reporting on these times. So, let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know what you want to see more of, and I'll speak to you soon. Catch you later, Fireflies.